IsReal News, these are the morning headlines for Thursday, March 26th. Iran is stepping up its attacks on Israel, firing 7 missile salvos within hours, many of them carrying cluster warheads. 9 people are reported injured. In Abu Dhabi, 2 people were killed by an intercepted missile, while homes and vehicles were damaged in central and northern Israel. The Israeli Air Force says it is carrying out extensive strikes on Iranian regime infrastructure. A possible new front is now emerging with Russia. Reports say Moscow is expected to begin sending drones, along with medicine and food, to support Iran. According to Western intelligence reports, Russia and Iran held secret talks on drone deliveries shortly after the war began. The Kremlin is not confirming the reports, but it is also not denying them. President Volodymyr Zelensky is accusing Vladimir Putin of trying to blackmail the United States, saying Russia offered to stop sharing intelligence with Iran if Washington would stop helping Kyiv. At the same time, the Pentagon is said to be considering redirecting air defense interceptors and other critical weapons originally meant for Ukraine to the Middle East, as the war with Iran consumes more U.S. military resources. Hezbollah is also increasing its rate of fire. Israeli officials say the group launched about 500 rockets yesterday, with many aimed at Israeli forces maneuvering in southern Lebanon and others crossing into Israeli territory. Israeli troops are using Iron Dome batteries and heavy return fire as the fighting shifts deeper beyond the border. President Donald Trump is signaling frustration with the diplomatic track. In a cabinet meeting and on Truth Social, Trump says Iran is, in his words, begging for a deal, but warns he does not know if an agreement can be reached. He says Iranian negotiators need to get serious before it is too late. Reports say the Pentagon and U.S. Central Command are working on possible military plans for what is being described as a finishing blow against Iran. Those options may include ground forces and massive bombing strikes, with one possibility said to be an invasion of the oil export hub on Karg Island. On the ground in Israel, a direct strike in Nahariya left 1 man dead and another seriously wounded. Medics say the impact caused major destruction across 3 sites in the city, with additional victims suffering from shock. Iran, meanwhile, says it has formally responded to a 15-point American proposal for ending the war. According to an Iranian source, Tehran is demanding an end to what it calls enemy crimes, compensation for wartime losses, guarantees the fighting will not resume, and implementation of an end to the war across all fronts and allied groups in the region. That same source says Iran views U.S. talk of negotiations as a deception meant to project an image of seeking peace, keep oil prices low, and buy time for a possible new ground operation in southern Iran. Iran also says control of the Strait of Hormuz remains what it calls a natural and legal right, and a senior Iranian official tells Reuters the American proposal still does not meet minimum requirements. Elsewhere, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz says the top command of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Navy has been eliminated. He says the Navy commander, who was responsible for closing the Strait of Hormuz, was killed overnight in Bandar Abbas. In Israel, 2 people were lightly hurt in Tel Aviv. Damage is reported in several locations in Tel Aviv and Ganei Tikva, and shrapnel from a launch toward Haifa hits the Technion and a nearby commercial complex. No injuries were reported there. And in Lebanon, the Israeli military says a 21-year-old staff sergeant was killed in combat during an encounter with terrorists in southern Lebanon. 2 other soldiers were wounded and evacuated for treatment. Those are the latest headlines from IsReal News.